Are we live, Jay?
We are now live.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Gig Harbor Fire Medic 1 Commissioners meeting for this evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. All those present, if you'd please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Look for a motion to approve the agenda. Sorry. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Any upcoming commissioner absences to report? Right, seeing none. I didn't see any communications. Is there anything I'm missing, Tom? No. Okay, thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of our September 10th meeting.
I'll make the motion. We approve the September 10th, 2024 commissioner meeting minutes.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yeah.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. That gets us to vouchers.
I'll move that we approve accounts payable vouchers CLM 0000084 through CLM 0000161. Payroll vouchers 201877 through 201895. And ACH payroll transfers as outlined in the agenda totaling $2,856,891.08.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. And I did hear from the local earlier today. There's no report for us for this evening. That gets us to chief's reports. Chief Dunn.
All right, Chief Johnson, did you have anything other than bond later?
Yes, so just update everybody on some of our wildland deployments that are going on. Currently, Chief Meyer is on the Buck Creek fire in kind of southern and central Oregon. Just talked to him last night. He will be demoting on traveling home on Friday. Our other deployment right now is Brush 56 as part of an EMAC agreement to California. So they went down, and I just got word from the Fire Defense Board Committee meeting this morning that they will most likely be demoted and start travel home on Saturday. So that's it for those folks.
And with that, we did have a slight injury on the fire. One of our firefighters injured his toe. He did have to have surgery and he flew home yesterday and recovering well. So also, just so you know, one of our division chiefs, Tom Westcott, he's originally from Anchorage. Both his sons are Anchorage firefighters. Off duty, one of his sons. Not sure what type of winged craft it was, but he wrecked it, injured himself quite badly, both of his legs, his arms, his back. And so Tom had to go to Anchorage. So we're supporting him, and the Anchorage Fire Department are supporting him. His son, I think, is going to fully recover. No head problems, no spinal cord, no internal injuries, but a lot of broken bones. And so he and his wife are there, and we're doing everything we can to support him and his wife. We had our 9/11 ceremony, and I thought it went off real well. And I want to thank Chief Westcott, Chief Peterson for setting that up. Attended the Washington Fire Chiefs Board meeting last week. We did our second interview as the Pierce County Fire Chiefs Board of the county executives. We had previously had a conversation with Ryan Mello, and this last week we met with Kelly Chambers just to talk about how we can partner better at South 911 and the Department of Emergency Management, EMS, and both those meetings went real well. I had coffee last week with Tacoma's interim fire chief, Siona actually lives here in Gig Harbor, so we met here in Gig Harbor before she went to work, and looking forward to our continued partnership with Tacoma Fire and our great relationship with them. I'm on the South Sound 911 Operations Committee and am currently helping them draft a job description for a fire data analyst, and then I'll be working with South Sound 911 to hire that person. We did chief's interviews. Chief Langlow and I did last Friday of 9 candidates. We had narrowed it down from a couple hundred to 21, and Chief Langlow and I interviewed 9. We made verbal contingent job offers to 3 firefighters or potential firefighters that with a start date of early January. Sadie Lucero, Tyler Bruces, and Ireland Claire Kennedy are the 3 job offers we made. So we're excited about that. Groundbreaking you have in front of you, and I don't want to steal Chief Johnson's thunder on the bond update. Chief Scott is speaking at an engage. It's called a community engagement with Katrina from the city and Chief Busey. It was tonight, same time as the board meeting, so I couldn't attend, but Scott Booth is there speaking at that conference or that meeting. Last but not least, we're hoping this is our last meeting with the OWL. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but they're closing this room next week, and we will hopefully have all the technology, if there's no hiccups, ready to go for next meeting, maybe the meeting after that. That's all I have for chief updates.
Thank you. Any standing committee reports? Right. That gets us to the financial report. Crystal.
Hello. In regards to this week's packet, we traditionally would have had our August monthly financial report. We are in the middle of our system implementation for our new finance ERP system. And unfortunately, we're not quite there from a reporting standpoint. Our software consultant has given us a commitment that we should be able to get those reports here in the next week or 2. So we anticipate having both August and those September reports next month.
Thank you, Crystal. I don't have anything for the chairman's report. That gets us to the bond update.
Perfect. So, as before, I'll work through the projects. Station 53, the roof should be completed today. I was out this morning and they only had a couple panels to put on to finish that. The electrical inspection was also today, and extractor install is Monday. So it's moving along. 57, the cover inspection was today. Drywall will start tomorrow, and in the next day or so, the roofers will simply move from 3 to 7 and start the roofing. And then painting of the outside of 57 was today. So they should all kind of match now. And it's actually a big step when you look at the building and it's actually all the same color, and it's blended well. So it looks like it's been there, which was our original goal for those stations. Training campus, Pease Construction is mobilizing. Job trailer should be here tomorrow on site and getting that hooked up. And the next, either today or tomorrow or Thursday, the I'll say the logging company will come out and mark trees. And then right after that, our civil engineer will come out, verify that's actually what we want to come down. And then I am told all trees will come down in one day. And then it will be the mass cleanup and clearing of logs and grubbing and all those things, which will take a little bit of time. But all the trees will come down in one day is what I'm told. We have, in talking to Pease Construction, we asked, Chief Doan asked them to, customer service is important to us. So Ron, our superintendent, has already reached out to neighbors and said, we're starting. We are going to do the same thing. We have a flyer with my contact information. So if there's an issue, they have 2 people to call. And that's just simply trying to take care of the neighbors, realizing that we were gonna impact them a little bit with some construction noise during the day. And the company is bound by Pierce County rules of when they can actually make noise and how far it can go, so. As Chief Dona alluded to, and you commissioners have it in front of you, the members that are here. We are setting a groundbreaking ceremony for October 8th, which is actually the next commissioners meeting. We'll do it an hour before down on the drill ground. So there will be already some work done, but mainly it's just the trees coming down. So hopefully that'll provide us a good place, and they're gonna clean it up, and we will have a groundbreaking ceremony for this thing. And as Commissioner Enzi said, it's been a while. So we want to celebrate those goals being met and starting this process. We will advertise social media wise, and then we will be inviting a list of people that have kind of helped us along, and important political folks around, you know, our county council member, all those folks will be invited as well. Station 51, same report as before. We're working through with the variances with the city and fine tuning drawings and specs as we need to, as we find other pieces. Station 50 completed the contract. That'll go out tomorrow morning, probably back. And completing drawings and specs. I did meet with the mechanical engineer last week, so we're verifying those updates for the mechanical systems, the HVAC, where we went thermostats. He was verifying all the fine tunes of his drawings, so those should be done this week. And our intent to go out to bid mid-October, and included in our contract will be language to the effect that we are very much looking forward to them completing that project by the end of February, so that we can move back. And then hasn't started yet, but kind of the same note as from the last meeting. As we get the training campus underway and 50 and 51 kind of started or done, we will be starting the process for 58 and 59 sometime probably first quarter next year. And that'll involve, much like the other projects, committee selection and moving forward with that. Do you have any questions of me? So on the 8th, be ready to dig in some dirt with a gold shovel. All commissioners. Just giving you the forewarning. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Is that it?
That is it for the
Oh, we're on
bond.
the bottom.
That's all right.
No old business this evening. Gets us to new business. First item, update on the bond finance projections. Chief Dona.
Just rolling back into that bond. In your packet is just a little update on the bond cash flow and some estimates. The first column is the previous projections for each, and I want to remind everyone that that is projections. Although the architect looks at the projects, we do some drawings and concepts, and they do try to put some numbers to it. It's just a projection. So the first column is the original projections. The second one is where we're at. So if you remember first that we right off the top bought 5 fire engines, that was not included. So we had 5.5 million for those 5 engines. The training center was originally projected at 19.2. It's coming in right there at 19 million. Station 57 was 1.2. It ended up being 1.4. 53, 1.3, it's 1.2. And fire station 51, previous projections are 25. We don't have a number yet. We're still projecting again, but it's looking good right now that it's going to be around, we're hoping around 22 million, but we never have a budget until it goes out to bid, and then we know. So the future is what I wanted to talk about a little bit and get any feedback and direction as we're moving forward. Fire station 58 and 59 had originally been a remodel. As things have changed, as energy codes have changed, as the use of the building has changed, we aren't sure that we can completely remodel it and meet our needs. Again, we'll still look at it, we'll still look at that, but, from my past experience, that sometimes doesn't work. It ends up causing more problems and more headaches, and you don't get what you want, and the cost escalate. So we will still look at that. But we are estimating that those projects may need to be torn down and start over. So we have taken some money from the original plan of 13 million for logistics, reduced it to 6, and we've added some in 58, 59. Again, this is just projections, just looking at it. We're looking at ways to try to keep that number as low as possible. Chief Johnson has met with lots of other fire departments in our area that have used Rice Fergus Miller to build fire stations. Is there a way to take a great design from Central Kitsap or somebody else and move it to 58, 59, make them the same? So we're looking at lots of other options. If you add all that up, that actually equals 84 million, and our bond was 80 million. So if these two numbers for 58 and 59 were to come true, we would have to take a few more from the logistics building. The logistics building is at 54 right now. And if we have any money left over as we move through this plan, we can invest in station 54. But I don't think we're going to be building an entire logistics facility. We'll see how it goes as we go. So I wanted to update you. We're halfway through. We were able to purchase 5 engines. We were able to increase the scope of 53 and 57 and still stay in line. Training centers coming in right in. We're hoping 59 or 51 will be a little bit under. So I just wanted to give you an update of where it's looking and where the projections are, and make sure that we're on the right track. If you had any feedback for us as we move through this, there's no action to be taken. I just wanted to give you an update where we are financially. We'll still have to bring the budget to you later next year for the bond budget. And it does not include 5.0 right now. So we are going to have to probably spend some money. Again, a projection is around $1 million-ish on the heating, air conditioning, and things that won't be covered by the insurance. So it's not rosy, but it's also not scary yet. Again, we were able to buy an engine. We're going to be able to fix the heating and air conditioning in this building. We're going to be able to put it back together. I think the loser in all this is probably going to be the logistics building.
Any questions for Chief? Thank you, Chief. The next item of new business is Stryker capital purchase. Chief Dumas.
Good evening. The EMS division is currently is dealing with a significant increase in costs and associated out of service time with the gurneys on our medic units. 6 of our 8 Furno gurneys are from 2017, and they're starting to show their wear. The EMS division has tried to be proactive with regular preventive maintenance and regular repairs, but we're seeing that our costs associated with the upkeep of these older models is becoming prohibitive. Over the last 6 months, the EMS division has been in contact with a different gurney manufacturer. The medic crews have tested and demoed the Stryker gurneys and think that this will be a positive move for patient transport and crew safety. The EMS division is asking the board to approve an unbudgeted item to change and upgrade our gurneys and stair chairs in 2 of our frontline medic units. Since this is an equipment change, it will require units to be retrofitted with the Stryker power loader. The quote is in your meeting packet. The equipment cost is quoted at $149,153.23. That's for the equipment. And then the retrofit install is $2,500 per unit. So a total of $5,000 for the retrofit. I'll answer any questions that you have about this request.
Where's the money coming from?
According to finance, the money will be absorbed from the current 2024 budget. There are several capital projects from this year that are needing to be pushed into 2025.
So because this is a large expenditure unbudgeted, we need to come to the board. So it's not, we don't need to take it from reserves or anything like that. It's within our budget. that we will be moving money around, but we needed to come to you to make it, for your approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I've got a comment on this. For those few in the room that remember Scott Casebolt, I know Alex does. He and I, years and years ago, looked at Stryker, and you know, these young firefighter, EMTs, paramedics, I guess what cost is a human back? And my thought on this, I don't care what these things cost. If it saves one young person from destroying their back because they're lifting too much or improperly, I'm willing to vote for any cost. Thank you.
Thank you.
The new gurneys. I'm looking at there, so I'm assuming everything's power pretty much on everything to help with the load of the patient on there.
Yeah, so these are even more powered than our current powered gurneys. There are buttons that assist lifting and lowering the gurneys, as well as loading the gurney into the medic unit, which our current gurneys do not do.
And that's the retrofit that. we
Yeah,
had.
that's the power load addition that goes into, it's the restraining system and the actual lifting of the gurney into the back of the medic unit.
Yeah, I have to agree with Tom. I've been in a few of those back in the old days and stuff on that, so I understand what it can be loading patients onto those things and stuff, so, yeah. While it may seem like a lot of money, I think the cost it could save in medical, L&I and other things from back, rotator cuffs, shoulders and stuff is, this is by far a good expense for those things.
So I'll move that we approve the proposed agreement with Stryker that's outlined in the agenda. I believe the grand total is $149, $123 and 53 cents.
That's possible. I apologize
Second.
for that.
So we have a motion's been seconded. Roll call vote?
Commissioner Ensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Just one quick question. Is Stryker the only one that makes these things?
No, we currently use Burnout is our current market.
Because whenever you watch TV, and you see gurneys being used, they're all Strykers. You have to know that yellow to know that Stryker, but you know, they're all Strykers. I'm just wondering, so do they have the market on the gurneys, or because it's funny how much you just see Stryker on medical shows?
I have a clarification question. Was it $5,000 in addition to this to retrofit the ambulance?
That will be an additional retrofitting cost where they have to change the flooring and how it attaches to the gurney or the medic unit.
I just want to make sure that's captured in
So did
either
we
the
miss
notes, the minutes, because the number of that is gonna be.
5,000 short?
54,000.
I thought that was.
Oh, okay.
5,000. It's a small.
Well,
thing. That's amazing.
what I'm trying to approve here is the proposal.
Yeah.
I mean, that was captured in the notes is what I was,
That's fine.
because it's an unbudgeted amount.
Perfect. So I'll wait.
Yeah, that's a different company.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's a third party who does work for Stryker to do this.
Okay, then I would say $149,123.53 for the proposal, and then whatever the additional cost, you've indicated it's in the range of 5,000.
Yes.
For retrofitting that units.
I think that's part of the concern.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Jones.
Thanks.
Right. Next item is resolution 2024-08 voucher approval. And it has Crystal listed.
Hello. Okay. Included in page 31 of tonight's packet is resolution 2024-08, This is seeking action and review and approval today. It is the similar language we've had for prior voucher approval resolutions. The significant change and revision to this one is the language to authorize us to issue our own warrants on behalf of the district instead of the county issuing the warrants on our behalf. So the prior approval, the voucher approvals, our auditing officer contacts, all of that language included within this resolution is same language as the prior one that was adopted in 2022.
Why, if I might, Mr. Chairman, why are we, two questions. One, does the county charge us for issuing these warrants? And two, why are we changing?
Great question. So this is a two-part question. We are in the middle of a finance software implementation, and one of the hiccups we did encounter is the integration with the county's accounting system in order to facilitate our accounts payable. So there was an issue where we aren't able to continue our accounts payable format in the way we did with our current or legacy financial system. So that is what prompted the timing of this change. I will say that we have been evaluating issuing our own checks or our warrants on our own behalf. However, the system implementation sped up that review and evaluation to the current timeframe. In terms of the pricing, currently the county does not issue any additional charges to the district for writing our own or for them to print our checks.
So it is going to cost the district some amount of money, but it sounds like it's necessary because of the software.
Yes.
So in a perfect world, we'd stay with the county, but the world's not perfect. Thank you, Crystal.
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions for Crystal? Is there a motion?
Actually, Crystal, one question. I know I've mentioned this to you before, about, it's just a personal bugaboo of mine about direct deposit for reimbursement checks. Does this sort of change allow the district to move towards that? And is part of the issue there with using the county for things like that you have to send checks? Will this help facilitate that sort of change?
This particular resolution does not impact that. However, during the system implementation, we are working to implement that as well. So the county will not issue ACH on our behalf as a district. So we did have to set up our own infrastructure to be able to facilitate that. But we are programming that and configuring it with the current software. We're getting there. We're probably at least a month or two out from being able to process that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Crystal? Is there a motion to approve resolution 2024-08?
I'll move that we approve resolution 2024-08.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy.
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes,
Commissioner Sudich.
Tom, you're muted.
I guess I have a question before I vote. I want to understand this. Why, and this not necessarily for you, Crystal, because I don't think this is in your wheelhouse, so to speak. Why did we go to a software that doesn't sync up with the county, or at the very least, try to coordinate with the county? Or are they so archaic that it just wasn't going to work? I'm not an IT person. I know what I want to say, but it's not coming out. So have at it, Crystal.
The current software we are implementing is not the roadblock we are encountering with this integration.
Well said.
Could you help me out with what you just said?
There are two systems that need to talk to each other, one being the county system and our system that we're implementing. The one we are implementing is not where we have the current roadblocks for integrating with their system.
That's a very political thing to say. In short, you're saying the county is archaic. And I'm not saying you're saying that. Let me rephrase that. If I were to say the county system is archaic, would that be a reasonable statement?
Could be interpreted that way, yes.
Thank you so much. Good answer. I vote yes.
Sorry, Commissioner Wiltie.
Yes.
And Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Now it gets us to our first draft of the budget hearing. Crystal.
Okay, great. I will share my screen here real quick. Can you see that? Is that big enough?
No, it doesn't do anything yet.
Okay. For the purposes of tonight, starting on page 33 of the packet, we have the first draft of the 2025 budget. It's in a similar format to last year. We'll go over the highlight of the priorities, our base assumptions, and a really high level budget summary for this version for tonight. And then we'll go over the budget timeline and if there's any questions that you have about the budget. 2025 budget priorities are very similar to last year. We do have want to continue with the balanced budget. Our reserve requirements are met, current commitments and known obligations. The other one we'll want to highlight is to incorporate what we've identified are those priorities in the multi-year capital plan. Some of the base assumptions for 2025, it does include our known staff replacements. So as you heard from Chief Joan today, we are having, we did place 3 offers today for entry-level firefighters. This includes, in this base budget, includes those staff. It includes year 3 of the collective bargaining agreement. It does reduce the one-time items from the current budget. It does include any known contractual committed items or increases. Some examples of that would be our insurance renewal and radio subscriber fees, our Sound 911 fees, things like that. It also includes our transfers to the local program. This will be our second year paying off the debt associated with that capital purchase, reserves, and then continuing the capital asset replacement plan. Some of the key drivers for this year's budget for 2025, continuing with those capital asset replacements, also committing the additional funds for the known apparatus that are arriving. We have a medic unit and a type 3 that are arriving at the end of this year, early next year. We also completed that order for the 3 medic units that were previously approved at a prior commissioner meeting. And then from the operating side, I think one of the other continuing drivers is just continued maintenance for the aging fleet and capital that we currently have as we work to receive those replacements as they arrive. Some considerations for this year, it is year 2 of the levy lid lift. At the time of this packet, the assessed valuation estimates had not been received. They actually did come into my mailbox today. So those will be included in the October 8th packet. And then our debt, capital, and bond budgets will be presented in more detail into the coming October meetings. Here's our high-level view by expense type for next year, split by salary, benefits, maintenance, and operations, our capital and transfers. Those transfers are the ones that go to the reserve fund or to the capital fund for reimbursement. And then if you have any questions as I move this, I'm happy to stop and answer questions in the middle. Similar format to last year. This is our preliminary comparison. This is last year's or 2024's adopted budget to our preliminary for 2025. Currently, it represents a 4.7% increase from the prior year. However, I will note that there are quite a few things that we still haven't received. Our labor and industry rates are the current ones that are currently being discussed, are not included yet. Our PERS and pension updates. There's a variety of other benefit updates that we haven't received yet as well. So these are known at best case estimates on those particular rates until those come in. This is our net increase from the 24 to 25 budget at $1.95 million, split by the 3 categories to give you an idea. Most of that increase is salary and benefits, year 3 of the collective bargaining agreement, and then a small amount towards the inflation and contract increases for the rest of the budget. Right now, here's the preliminary for all 3 funds. We have our operating budget at 43 million, debt service at 4.7, our capital projects fund. This is the one that I anticipate will move a little bit as we receive additional information from Rice Fergus Miller and from our capital projects here in the coming weeks. Right now, the total preliminary budget is $71.3 million. To go over our timeline, we published the budget timeline in the last meeting. We do have today as our first draft. Our second draft will be at the next meeting, October 8th. Our final draft and revenue hearing will be the October 22nd meeting with an intention to do budget adoption for November 12th. Right now it says on here 11:30 is due to the county assessor's office. The information I did receive through that assessed valuation today that they'd like it early due to where the Thanksgiving holiday lands this year. It's actually due a few days earlier. And then just follow up, we'll have more detail and the other associated funds in our October editions. Does anyone have any questions or something you would like to see in those next meetings?
Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate it.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Okay.
All right, now it's time for open public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. If you're joining us online, please raise your hand and we'll bring you into the meeting. All right, I'm not seeing any. That gets us to good of the order. Anything for good of the order?
There's one thing that I did forget during the chief's report that I was reminded of. One of our firefighters that we sent to paramedic school last year has completed it and certified and is fully active paramedic now.
He started his process of training way
Field
last
training
year.
officer. Yep. So that's exciting that we offered that up, educated one of our firefighters, sent him to paramedic school.
Any special interests, upcoming events?
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, October 8th, 4 o'clock. All right, I move that we adjourn the meeting. Our next regular meeting will be held on October 8th at 5 p.m. following the groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you.